moved every major asset out of my name 2 weeks before my wife handed me divorce papers. She thought she was walking into an easy payout. Instead, she walked into a legal brick wall and walked out with nothing but her clothes and her lies. Hello, everyone. Before we start today's story, I need your help. The channel has been losing traction, and subscribing is one of the best ways you can support us. It's quick, free, and it allows us to keep bringing you stories like this. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing together. Thank you very much. Now, let's begin. I've been lurking here for months, reading other people's disasters and thinking, glad that's not me. I honestly believed I'd never have my own story to share. I don't jump to conclusions. I don't go looking for drama. I've always trusted my wife. Let's call her M. We'd been together for 6 years, married for 4, and for most of that time, I would have sworn we were solid. Normal arguments, normal stress, nothing that made me think the marriage is in danger. We were that couple. Inside jokes, dumb debates over what movie to watch, late night takeout on the couch. She'd plan fancy date nights. I'd surprise her with her favorite food after a long day. It felt easy, like we'd cracked some secret code to making love work, which is why what happened next hit like a truck. The shift. About 6 months ago, things started to tilt. At first, it was subtle. The kind of things you'd miss if you weren't paying attention. She started carrying her phone everywhere. Kitchen, phone, bathroom, phone, folding laundry, phone in her pocket. Before that, it would just sit on the coffee table for hours. I could have used it as a coaster and she wouldn't have cared. One day I joked, "What, you running some secret spy ring now?" She laughed it off. "No, work's just emailing me a lot." A few days later, she added a password. That one made my stomach twitch. She'd never bothered before. When I casually asked, "Since when do we need passwords?" she said something vague about security and hackers. I let it go. I didn't want to sound paranoid, but it stuck with me. Then came the calls. Her phone would ring and she'd say, "I'll just take this real quick," and leave the room, bedroom, porch, bathroom, anywhere I wasn't. If I asked who it was, the answer was always the same. Just a friend from work. Her phone started living face down on every surface. The one time I reached near it to pass her something, she snatched it away so fast you'd think it was a bomb. And it wasn't just the phone. The distance crept in. Conversations that used to flow died after a few sentences. When I brought up future plans, anniversary trips, saving for a new car, she'd say, "Yeah, we'll see," and change the subject, like the future was something she didn't want to stand in with me anymore. The coffee shop one random Wednesday, she told me she was meeting a friend for coffee after work. Totally normal. She does that sometimes. I happened to be running errands nearby and thought, why not surprise her? Maybe we'd grab a drink together, make a little midweek moment out of it. When I got there, my stomach turned. She wasn't with her friend. She was outside the cafe, pacing, phone pressed to her ear. Her face was serious, focused in a way I hadn't seen in months. I stayed in the car. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but the window was cracked and I heard fragments. "It's almost ready. Starting fresh soon." Those words hit like ice water. That didn't sound like work drama. It didn't sound like some friend venting. It sounded planned, big, final. When she came home, I asked as casually as I could, "How was coffee?" She launched into a full story about her friend complaining about her boyfriend. Details, names, the works. A perfectly packaged lie. I just watched her for a second, and for the first time since we got married, I thought, "You're lying to me." The financial red flag. A few nights later, out of nowhere, she said, "Hey, I was thinking maybe we should organize our financial stuff. Just in case. All our accounts, passwords, documents in one place." I froze internally. We'd never had that conversation before. We'd always been pretty loose. Some joint, some separate, nothing overly structured. "What kind of emergency?" I asked. She shrugged. "Just life stuff." What if something happens to one of us, or we need to make a big financial decision quickly? It's just smart, right? On the surface, it sounded reasonable, responsible even, but the way she said it, smooth, rehearsed, felt wrong, like she'd practiced it. She brought it up again a couple days later in the kitchen. Have you thought any more about organizing the bank stuff? Like, do you know where all your account details are? This time I put the knife down and looked at her. Okay, what's going on? I asked. I tried to keep it light, but firm. You've mentioned finances a lot lately. Is there something we should talk about? She glanced up from her phone, surprised I didn't just nod and agree. No, nothing's wrong, she said too quickly. I just think it's important, that's all. Emergencies, I said. Like what? Another shrug. I don't know. It's not a big deal, I promise. Except it felt like a big deal. It felt like a setup. The next day, while she was at work, I logged into our joint account. Tiny transfers, a handful of small withdrawals over the past month. Nothing huge, nothing dramatic, but clearly not bills, groceries, or anything we discussed. Quiet little leaks. I didn't confront her. Not yet. If I was wrong, I'd look paranoid and insane. If I was right, I needed to be smart. So, I called someone I trusted, an old college friend who's now a lawyer. I told him everything. The phone, the distance, the conversations I overheard, the financial pushing, the little withdrawals. He didn't laugh. He didn't tell me I was crazy. Look, he said, I'm not saying she's definitely planning something, but if you're ever going to protect your assets, now is the time. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. He walked me through my options, simple, legal, protective steps. It felt wrong. It felt like admitting the marriage was dying, but it also felt like the only way not to walk into a trap with my eyes closed. Moving everything that night. After she went out, I sat at my desk with my laptop open, shaking. Bank accounts, investment accounts, the house. Every document I pulled up felt like a betrayal. But the voice in my head wouldn't shut up. If she's doing this to you and you sit there like an idiot, you'll hate yourself forever. I made a list of everything that could be moved and how. I called my mother and said, I need you to hold some things for me. It's nothing illegal. It's just to protect myself. Just in case. There was a pause. Are you okay? She asked, worried. Yeah, I lied. It's just a precaution. Whatever you need, she said quietly. I'm here. By the time M came home, I had already started the process. Within days, almost everything, our cash, investments, even the house, was transferred into a trust in my mother's name. Fully legal, irrevocable, ironclad, I left enough in the joint account to keep things looking normal. She walked in that night, kissed my cheek, and asked, Want to watch a movie? Outside, I played the part. Inside, my heart was racing. Over the next few days, she never mentioned money again. Not once. No more emergency planning talk. No more password sharing. You'd think that would have calmed me down. It didn't. It made me more suspicious. I'd asked one question, pushed back one time, and she suddenly dropped the subject like it was radioactive. She kept watching me out of the corner of her eye, like she was trying to read my face. She didn't know I'd already moved the board pieces. The bomb drops. 2 weeks went by. Her behavior flipped again. She was warmer, more affectionate, chatty, asking about dinner, work, small things. For months she'd been distant, and suddenly she was nice again. If I hadn't seen what I'd seen, I might have fallen for it. Then one random Friday night, she turned off the TV, sat down in front of me, and said the words I already knew were coming. We need to talk. My stomach dropped. I think we should get a divorce, she said. Her voice was flat, calm, rehearsed, like she'd been practicing it in the mirror. There were no tears, no shaking, no struggle. Just delivery. She talked about needing space, needing to find herself, feeling like she'd lost her identity in the marriage. All the classic breakup phrases people pull from some Pinterest board of emotional cliches. Then she said the line that really pissed me off. I've made a lot of sacrifices for you, and I don't think you truly appreciate them. I deserve more. That hit differently. Not just, I want out, but you owe me. As she talked, a new sentence slipped out. A friend of mine has been helping me see things more clearly. A friend. My brain went back to the cafe, to starting fresh soon, to the sudden push about finances. Someone was coaching her. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I said, if that's how you feel, then I guess we need to figure out next steps. She looked surprised. I think she expected me to panic, plead, crumble. But my mind was already ahead of hers because I knew something she didn't. By the time she filed anything, the assets she was coming for would already be gone. On Monday, the divorce papers arrived. They weren't just, I want to end this. They were an attack. Half the house, half the savings, half the assets, the car, and some vague, aggressive spousal support clause that made zero sense considering she makes a very good salary. This wasn't an emotional exit. This was a cash grab, and someone had clearly walked her through every demand. Finding Jake, I started digging. I couldn't just ask her, hey, who's whispering in your ear? She'd deny everything or spin it. So I went quiet and watched. I checked her socials. She hadn't blocked me. She didn't post often, but I looked through every tag, comment, and like. One name kept popping up. Jake. Lots of likes on her posts. Innocent comments. But frequent. Close. I clicked his profile. Public. Generic 30-something marketing guy at first glance. Nothing jumping out until I scrolled and saw a picture of him at the exact same cafe I'd seen her at weeks earlier. Same day, same place. My stomach dropped. Scrolling further, I saw more. You've got this, under one of her photos. A selfie that looked suspiciously like it was taken inside her new apartment. No smoking gun. But the pattern was there. I started reaching out to mutual friends. Casual at first. Hey, have you talked to Em lately? She seems different. Most of them clammed up. One friend, Lisa, shut me down fast. I don't want to get involved, she said, defensive. Too quick. Another mutual friend, Emily, initially brushed me off too, then called me back. She made me promise nothing would get back to her. Then she dropped the name. Look, she's been spending a lot of time with some guy from work. Jake, I don't know everything, but from what I've heard, he's been giving her a lot of divorce advice. A lot. Hearing his name confirmed what I already knew. She didn't just fall out of love. She was being pushed, coached, hyped up to walk away with as much of my life as she could legally grab on the way out the door. I decided to see it for myself. One Saturday, I parked a block away from her apartment and waited. Hours later, they walked out together. No hand-holding, no kissing, but the body language said enough. Standing close, leaning in, talking like people who saw each other a lot outside of work. They got into his car and drove away. I didn't follow. I didn't need to. I'd already seen enough. She wasn't just leaving me. She was leaving me for him. And she planned to use me like a stepping stone. What she didn't know was that I'd already kicked the step out from under her. Mediation day. Our first mediation session was tense. She arrived with her lawyer, who slapped down a thick binder like they were suing a corporation. He started listing her demands like they were completely normal. Half the house, half the savings, half the investments, car, ongoing support. I kept my face neutral. Let him talk. Then my lawyer slid a neat stack of documents across the table. Before we go further, he said calmly, you'll want to review these. Her lawyer skimmed the first page, then the second. Then his expression drained. What is this? He asked. These, my lawyer said, are the documents showing all major assets were transferred into an irrevocable trust under my client's mother's name. The transfers were completed several weeks before your client filed for divorce. Fully legal, notarized, and no longer in his possession. Silence. Her lawyer turned to her. You didn't tell me about this. he said flatly. She snatched the papers and flipped through them. Her face went pale, then red. This can't be real, she said, staring at the dates and signatures. Then she looked at me like I'd stabbed her. You planned this, she hissed. You knew I was going to file. You did this to screw me over. I just looked back at her. No yelling, no gloating, just quiet. My lawyer walked them through everything. Dates, transfers, notarizations, the trust. Every move was clean, legal, untouchable. They had no way to claw any of it back. The meeting fizzled out with her lawyer mumbling something about reevaluating options, but we all knew it. Their entire strategy had just collapsed. Outside the conference room, she grabbed my arm. This isn't over, she whispered, furious. You're going to regret this. I pulled my arm back and said, The only thing I regret is trusting you. Then I walked away. Her plan collapses. After that, she spiraled. The calls started immediately. First, she tried soft. Voicemails about how we should talk this out, how things got messy, how we could still fix this. When I didn't respond, the tone changed. Angry, unhinged, I was cold, I was cruel, I was greedy for protecting what I had built while she tried to take it. My lawyer told me not to reply, so I didn't. When the calls and texts didn't work, she moved to damage control. Mutual friends started telling me she was claiming the whole divorce was a test, or a prank, or not serious. Her story kept changing. It was just a joke that got out of hand. It was to test if he really loved me. It was part of a bigger plan that he misunderstood. People started poking holes. If it was a prank, why file real legal documents? If it was a test, why did your lawyer send pages of demands? When that didn't fly, she pivoted again, this time painting herself as a victim. She told people the divorce was just her way of expressing pain, and I had overreacted by moving everything, that I was the one who betrayed her. Some believed her at first. I got a few messages from people saying, maybe you should just talk to her, or divorce is a big step, you know. Then the truth started leaking. The text messages, a mutual guy, let's call him Matt, reached out of the blue. Dude, we need to talk, he said. I have something you should see. We met up. He pulled out his phone and showed me screenshots of messages between her and Jake. My blood ran cold. How did you get these? I asked. He explained that Jake and one of his buddies talked way too much. That buddy had seen enough of their messages and heard enough of their conversations to know I was being played. He'd quietly grabbed screenshots and sent them to Matt, thinking he'd know what to do. And one of the texts from her, once the settlement's done, we'll have everything we need. I just need him to agree to the terms. Jake. Don't back down. Make him feel guilty if you have to. He owes you. We'll start fresh once you've got the money. That wasn't a misunderstanding. That wasn't hurt feelings. That was a plan. My wife and her friend had spent months lining up my life like a piggy bank they were going to smash open. I thanked Matt and went home shaking. Word spreads fast in small circles. Matt showed a couple of close friends. Those friends showed others. Her narrative fell apart almost overnight. People who had defended her stopped responding to her calls. People who had judged me sent awkward apologies. Even her own brother eventually reached out and said, I didn't know she was doing all that. I'm sorry I took her side. As for Jake, ghost. The second it became clear she wasn't getting a cent from me, he vanished. No more cafe photos, no more, you've got this, no more future plans. He'd use her to play a game and bailed when the jackpot disappeared. The end game. By the time the divorce finalized, she walked away with exactly what she brought in. Her personal belongings, no house, no savings, no car, no ongoing support. Her complaint went nowhere. Her demands evaporated. My trust with my mother held. The assets remained safe. The house is legally mine again now, and so are my savings. My mom showed up one weekend with paint, decor ideas, and the kind of gentle presence that makes everything feel survivable. We repainted rooms, moved furniture, took down old photos, turned what used to be our home into my home again. The calls from my ex eventually slowed, then stopped. Her last few messages were pure desperation. Please, can we just talk? I made a mistake. I'll drop everything if you just give me a chance. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. She became a closed chapter, a story I lived through but don't ever plan on rereading. Now, my life is quiet. No more wondering why my wife is hiding her phone. No more wondering if a simple, we need to talk is about emotions or a strategy. Just peace. A house that's finally mine. And the knowledge that listening to my gut saved me from losing everything I'd worked so hard for. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.